For centuries, the Galactic Council had stood as the apex of power in the known universe. Comprised of the most advanced and influential alien civilizations, the Council wielded unparalleled military, economic, and political might. They saw themselves as the rightful guardians of galactic order and prosperity, with a divine duty to shape the destiny of all sentient races. One such race, however, had managed to elude the Council's watchful gaze for far too long: the humans. Emerging from a remote corner of the galaxy, these bipedal creatures had only recently begun to venture out into the stars, their technology and capabilities considered primitive by the standards of the Council. When the human government finally applied for membership in the esteemed Galactic Council, the alien delegates could barely contain their amusement. They gathered in the Grand Council chambers, eager to size up this new potential member and assess whether they were worthy of such an honor. "Look at them, scurrying about like insects," sneered Crixon, the representative of the mighty Xandarian Empire. "Their crude spacecraft and laughable weapons pose no threat to our fleets." Nodding in agreement, the gargantuan matriarch of the hive mind let out a series of clicks and hisses. The humans are but children, barely understanding the ways of the cosmos. What could they possibly offer the Galactic Council? As the debate raged on, the human ambassador, a stoic individual named Sarah Oliveira, sat silently, her expression betraying no emotion. She had anticipated the disdain and condescension that her people would face, but she remained steadfast in her resolve to secure a seat at the table of galactic power. When finally granted the opportunity to address the Council, Sarah spoke with measured confidence. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, we come before you today with humility, but also with the belief that we have much to contribute to the betterment of our shared galaxy." Her words were met with derisive laughter from the alien delegates. Crixon leaned forward, his multifaceted eyes glinting with amusement. "Contribute? My dear human, what could your primitive race possibly offer that we have not already mastered?" Sarah took a deep breath, choosing her next words carefully. "We may be young, but we are a resilient and determined people. Our technology, though not as advanced as yours, is rapidly evolving, and our military, though small, has proven its mettle in the conflicts we have faced." The gargantuan matriarch let out a series of clicking noises that seemed to convey a mixture of amusement and disdain. "Your military is nothing more than a collection of outdated vessels and ill-trained soldiers. You are no match for the might of the Galactic Council." Murmurs of agreement echoed through the cavernous chamber, and Sarah felt the weight of her people's future resting squarely on her shoulders. She knew that the Council would not be easily swayed, but she was determined to at least make them reconsider their dismissive attitude towards the human race. "Perhaps," she said, her voice calm and measured, "you would be willing to witness a demonstration of our military's capabilities, to better judge our worthiness for Council membership." The alien delegates exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of curiosity and condescension. Crixon leaned back in his chair, a smug grin spreading across his reptilian features. "Very well, human. We shall grant you this request, but do not expect us to be impressed. Your so-called military will never be able to match the might of the Galactic Council." With that, the meeting was adjourned, and Sarah Oliveira returned to her people, her mind already whirring with plans for the demonstration that would soon take place. She knew that the fate of humanity's future in the galaxy rested on this pivotal moment, and she was determined to prove the arrogant Council wrong, no matter the cost. In the aftermath of the disastrous meeting with the Galactic Council, the human government was faced with a critical decision. They could either meekly accept the Council's dismissive attitude and abandon their hopes of joining the esteemed interstellar organization, or they could take a bold gamble and prove their worth through a daring display of military might. After heated debates and intense discussions, the human leaders ultimately chose the latter course of action. They knew that the Council's arrogance and condescension towards their race could not go unchallenged, and that they had to find a way to command the respect and recognition they deserved. And so, a top-secret project was launched, one that would push the boundaries of human technological prowess and redefine the balance of power in the galaxy. In the hidden laboratories and shipyards scattered across the human homeworld, the finest scientific minds and most skilled engineers worked tirelessly, driven by a sense of national pride and a determination to shatter the Galactic Council's preconceptions about the human race. The project's objective was clear: to develop a warship unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen, a vessel that would serve as a symbol of humanity's strength and a deterrent to any who dared to underestimate their capabilities. Month after month, the work progressed, with each breakthrough fueling the team's determination and the government's hopes. Cutting-edge propulsion systems, advanced shield generators, and devastating energy weapons were all painstakingly designed and tested, pushing the limits of human technology to its absolute boundary. As the project neared its conclusion, the human leaders grew increasingly confident in their ability to sway the Galactic Council. They envisioned a future where their people would be recognized as equals, their voice heard, and their interests protected within the halls of the esteemed interstellar organization. But even as they prepared for the grand unveiling, a sense of unease began to creep into their minds. What if the Council remained unconvinced, dismissing their new weapon as a mere curiosity? What if the gamble failed, and their dreams of galactic integration were shattered forever? The tension reached a fever pitch as the day of the demonstration drew near. The human government wrestled with the decision of whether or not to reveal their secret project to the Galactic Council, aware that the stakes could not be higher. Ultimately, after countless hours of debate and soul-searching, they reached a conclusion. The time had come to take a stand, to show the arrogant alien delegates that the human race was a force to be reckoned with. The stakes were high, but the potential rewards were even greater: a seat at the table of galactic power, and the chance to shape the destiny of the entire universe. With a deep breath, the human leaders made their decision. They would unveil their secret weapon to the Galactic Council and let the might of human ingenuity and determination speak for itself. As the day of the demonstration arrived, the air was thick with anticipation and trepidation. The human ambassador, Sarah Oliveira, stood before the gathered council members, her eyes blazing with a quiet determination. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," she began, her voice unwavering, "today, we are here to show you that the human race is far more than what you have dismissed us to be. We have been working in secret, and now we are ready to unveil a weapon that will shake the very foundations of this galaxy." The alien delegates exchanged puzzled and skeptical glances, their expressions ranging from disbelief to amusement. But as the massive doors to the council chamber parted, revealing the towering form of the human's new superweapon, their expressions quickly shifted to one of shock and unease. For before them, standing tall and imposing, was a vessel unlike anything they had ever seen, a true dreadnought, a harbinger of human power, and a challenge to the Galactic Council's supremacy. As the massive form of the human dreadnought loomed within the council chamber, the alien delegates of the Galactic Council found themselves stunned into a rare silence. Their eyes widened with a mixture of awe and apprehension, their previous condescension towards the human race quickly giving way to a growing sense of unease. Crixon, the Xandarian representative, was the first to find his voice, his scaly features twisting into a scowl. "What is the meaning of this, human? You dare to bring this monstrosity before the Galactic Council?" Sarah Oliveira, the human ambassador, met the reptilian's gaze with unwavering calm. "This, Councillor Crixon, is the proof of our military's might. We have created a vessel unlike any other in the known galaxy, one that will serve as a symbol of our strength and a deterrent to those who would seek to underestimate us." The gargantuan matriarch let out a series of clicks and hisses, her multiple eyes narrowing in suspicion. "You have been hiding this from us all this time, human. Why? What is the purpose of this dreadnought, as you call it?" Sarah took a deep breath, knowing that her next words would be crucial. "The purpose of this vessel is to defend our people and our interests, both within and beyond our home system. We have no desire for conflict, but we will not be cowed by the arrogance and condescension of the Galactic Council. The chamber erupted into a cacophony of angry shouts and protests, the alien delegates outraged at the humans' defiant stance. Crixon slammed his fist on the table, his eyes glowing with barely contained fury. You dare to threaten the might of the Galactic Council. Your primitive technology is no match for our fleets, human. You will disarm this vessel immediately, or face the consequences. Sarah held up a hand, silencing the outraged delegates with a calm, authoritative gesture. The human government has made its decision, Councillor Crixon. We will not be bullied or intimidated. This dreadnought is a symbol of our determination to be recognized as equals within the Galactic Council, and we will not back down. The tension in the chamber was palpable, the air thick with the potential for open conflict. The alien delegates exchanged uneasy glances, their centuries-old unity suddenly seeming fragile and vulnerable. Sensing an opportunity, Sarah pressed on. We are willing to negotiate a peaceful resolution to this impasse, but we will not surrender our right to defend ourselves. The human race has much to offer the Galactic Council, but we will not do so from a position of weakness. Crixon's eyes narrowed, his scales rippling with a barely contained rage. You speak of negotiation, human, but I hear only defiance and arrogance. The Galactic Council will not tolerate such insolence. If you refuse to disarm your dreadnought, we will be forced to take drastic measures to ensure the security of our domain. The gargantuan matriarch clicked and hissed in agreement, her massive form looming over the proceedings. The human race has overstepped its bounds. You will submit to the will of the Galactic Council or face the consequences of your actions. Sarah steeled herself, knowing that the fate of her people hung in the balance. Then so be it, counselors. The human government has made its decision, and we will not back down. The dreadnought will remain, a testament to our resolve and a symbol of our determination to carve out a place for ourselves in this galaxy. With those words, the meeting dissolved into chaos, the alien delegates erupting into a frenzy of accusations and threats. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the very foundations of the Galactic Council, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. As the Galactic Council meeting dissolved into a cacophony of angry shouts and accusations, the human dreadnought sat silently in the vast expanse of space, a testament to the determination and technological prowess of the human race. Captained by the seasoned veteran, Admiral Emilia Vasquez, the massive vessel had been outfitted with the latest in human military technology. Its powerful energy weapons, advanced shielding systems, and state-of-the-art engines made it a formidable force to be reckoned with, even in the face of the Galactic Council's combined fleets. With the tension between the humans and the Council at an all-time high, Admiral Vasquez knew that the Dreadnought's first mission would be a critical one. The eyes of the entire galaxy were upon them, and the fate of humanity's future within the Galactic Council hung in the balance. As the massive warship powered up its engines and set a course into the unknown, the crew felt a mixture of excitement and trepidation. They were about to embark on a journey that would put their skills and the Dreadnought's capabilities to the ultimate test. The first few days of the voyage were spent meticulously testing the ship's various systems, ensuring that every component was functioning at peak efficiency. The engineers and technicians worked tirelessly, their dedication fueled by a sense of pride and a desire to prove the worth of their creation. As the Dreadnought's systems were pushed to their limits, the crew was astonished by the vessel's performance. Its shields could withstand the concentrated firepower of dozens of enemy ships, its energy weapons capable of devastating entire armadas with a single volley. The Dreadnought was a true marvel of human engineering, a testament to the ingenuity and determination of its creators. But the true test was yet to come. The Galactic Council had demanded that the humans submit the Dreadnought for a series of war games and combat simulations, a move that was clearly intended to expose the vessel's weaknesses and undermine the humans' claims of military superiority. Undaunted, Admiral Vasquez agreed to the Council's demands, confident that the Dreadnought would rise to the occasion. As the massive warship maneuvered through the intricate combat scenarios, it became clear that the Council's delegates were growing increasingly uneasy. The Dreadnought's sheer firepower and defensive capabilities were unlike anything they had ever encountered, rendering their most sophisticated weapon systems and tactical maneuvers utterly ineffective. Time and time again, the human vessel emerged victorious, leaving the alien delegates stunned and unnerved. As the war games drew to a close, the Galactic Council convened a private meeting, their expressions a mix of shock, disbelief, and growing unease. They had underestimated the human race, and the consequences of that miscalculation were becoming increasingly apparent. This dreadnought is unlike anything we have ever faced, Crixon, the Xandarian representative, admitted, his scales glistening with a sheen of sweat. Its shielding and weapons are far beyond our current capabilities. How is this possible? The gargantuan matriarch clicked and hissed, her massive form swaying as she considered the implications. The humans have clearly been hiding their true technological prowess. We have gravely underestimated them, and now we may be facing a threat to the very foundation of the Galactic Council's power. The air in the council chamber was thick with tension, the alien delegates grappling with the realization that their once unassailable dominance was now being challenged by the upstart human race. They knew that they could no longer afford to dismiss or belittle the humans, for to do so would be to risk the very stability of the galactic order they had worked so hard to maintain. As the meeting drew to a close, the council members exchanged uneasy glances, their minds racing with the implications of the Dreadnought's overwhelming power. The stage was set for a confrontation that would forever change the course of galactic history. The Galactic Council chambers were filled with a tense, uneasy silence as the alien delegates grappled with the implications of the human Dreadnought's overwhelming power. The once arrogant and dismissive attitudes had given way to a growing sense of apprehension and unease. Crixon, the Xandarian representative, paced back and forth, his scales glistening with a sheen of sweat. This changes everything. The humans have clearly been holding back their true technological capabilities. How can we, the Galactic Council, be so thoroughly outmatched by this upstart race? The gargantuan matriarch, her multiple eyes narrowed in thought, let out a series of clicks and hisses. We cannot allow this to stand. The balance of power in the galaxy is at stake. We must act, and act decisively, before the humans can solidify their position and threaten the very foundation of the Galactic Council. Murmurs of agreement echoed through the chamber as the other delegates nodded, their expressions grim and determined. They had spent centuries cultivating their dominance, forging alliances and amassing vast military forces to maintain their supremacy. The idea of a young, relatively unknown race like the humans challenging that order was simply unacceptable. Crixon slammed his fist on the table, his eyes burning with a mixture of anger and fear. Then it is settled. We must issue an ultimatum to the humans, disarm their dreadnought immediately, or face the consequences of their defiance. The gargantuan matriarch clicked in affirmation. Yes, that is the only course of action. The Galactic Council cannot be seen as weak or indecisive. We must show the humans the true might of our combined forces. As the delegates discussed the specifics of their ultimatum, Sarah Oliveira, the human ambassador, sat quietly, her expression betraying no emotion. She had anticipated this reaction, and she was prepared to stand firm in the face of the Galactic Council's demands. When the time came to deliver the ultimatum, Crixon's voice boomed through the chamber, his words laced with a barely contained fury. Humans, you have forced our hand. Your dreadnought poses a grave threat to the stability and security of the Galactic Council. You will disarm it immediately, or face the full might of our combined fleets. Sarah rose, her posture straight, and her gaze unwavering. Councillor Crixon, the human government has made its position clear. We will not back down, nor will we surrender the dreadnought. It is a symbol of our determination to be recognized as equals within the Galactic Council, and we will not be intimidated. The alien delegates erupted into a chorus of outraged shouts and protests, their voices echoing through the cavernous chamber. Crixon leaned forward, his reptilian features twisted in a snarl. "Then you leave us no choice, human. If you refuse to disarm the Dreadnought, we will be forced to take decisive action to eliminate this threat to the Galactic Council. Our fleets will converge on your homeworld, and we will destroy your precious warship and any who dare to stand in our way." Sarah held up a hand, silencing the angry delegates with a calm, authoritative gesture. "So be it, Councillor Crixon. The human government has made its decision, and we will not back down. If you choose to attack us, we will defend ourselves with the full force of our military might." The tension in the chamber was palpable, the air thick with the potential for open conflict. The alien delegates exchanged uneasy glances, their centuries-old unity suddenly seeming fragile and vulnerable. As the meeting drew to a close, Sarah Oliveira returned to her people, her mind racing with the implications of the Galactic Council's ultimatum. She knew that the fate of humanity hung in the balance, and that the Dreadnought would soon be the only thing standing between their race and the wrath of the most powerful interstellar organization in the galaxy. The news of the Galactic Council's ultimatum sent shockwaves through the human homeworld. Citizens, once filled with a sense of pride and optimism, now found themselves gripped by a palpable air of tension and uncertainty. In the command center of the human Dreadnought, Admiral Emilia Vasquez stood resolute, her gaze fixed on the holographic displays that showed the growing armada of council ships converging on their position. "They're moving in faster than we anticipated," she muttered, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Looks like they're not even bothering with further negotiations. They're coming to make good on their threats." The crew members around her exchanged uneasy glances, the weight of the impending confrontation weighing heavily on their minds. They had trained for this moment, but nothing could have truly prepared them for the sheer scale and power of the Galactic Council's forces. "All hands, battle stations," Vasquez commanded, her voice cutting through the tense silence. "Target their command ships and focus all firepower on the lead elements of their fleet. We need to buy ourselves as much time as possible." The Dreadnought's massive engines roared to life, the vessel surging forward to meet the advancing council ships. Powerful energy beams lanced out, carving deep gashes in the hulls of the enemy vessels. Explosions blossomed across the void of space, and the Council's armada faltered, its once coordinated advance now descending into chaos. But the respite was short-lived, as the Galactic Council's sheer numerical advantage began to overwhelm the human Dreadnought. For every ship it destroyed, two more took its place, their weapons pounding relentlessly against the vessel's shields. Vasquez gritted her teeth, her knuckles white, as she gripped the edge of the command console. "Divert all available power to the forward shields. We need to hold them off as long as possible." The Dreadnought shuddered under the onslaught, its shields flickering and straining to maintain their integrity. Crew members scrambled to reroute power and make emergency repairs, their faces etched with a mixture of determination and fear. As the battle raged on, the human homeworld watched with bated breath, their eyes glued to the holographic displays that broadcast the conflict in real time. The once arrogant Galactic Council had underestimated the human spirit, and now they were paying the price. The Dreadnought, a symbol of humanity's defiance, fought with a ferocity that belied its massive size. Its powerful energy weapons tore through the Council's ships, reducing entire squadrons to smoldering debris. The alien delegates, once so confident in their military might, now found themselves on the defensive, their tactics and strategies proving woefully inadequate against the human vessel's relentless onslaught. But even the Dreadnought's formidable abilities could not withstand the sheer weight of the Council's numbers. Slowly, inexorably, the shields began to falter, the vessel's systems training to maintain their function. Vasquez watched with a growing sense of dread as the holographic displays showed the increasing damage to their ship. She knew that they were facing a losing battle, but she also knew that they could not surrender, not when so much was at stake. "All hands, prepare for the final stand," she announced, her voice steady and resolute. We may not be able to win this fight, but we will make them remember the day they dared to underestimate the human race." The Dreadnought's weapons continued to fire, its shields flickering and collapsing as the Council's forces pressed their advantage. But even as the vessel's systems began to fail, the human crew fought on, their determination fueled by a deep-seated belief in the justice of their cause. In the end, the Galactic Council's armada emerged victorious, but not without a heavy price. The Dreadnought, battered and bruised, had managed to inflict devastating losses on the alien forces, shattering their confidence and exposing the fragility of their once unassailable dominance. As the dust settled, the Galactic Council found themselves confronted with a harsh reality. The human race was no longer to be underestimated, and their path to galactic supremacy was no longer as assured as it had once been. The aftermath of the battle between the human Dreadnought and the Galactic Council's vast armada left the alien delegates in a state of shock and disbelief. The once arrogant council, so certain of their military superiority, had been forced to confront a harsh reality. The human race was a force to be reckoned with, and their path to galactic dominance was no longer as assured as it had once been. Crixon, the Xandarian representative, paced the council chambers, his scales rippling with a mixture of anger and grudging respect. How could this have happened? Our fleets were vastly superior in number and firepower, yet that Dreadnought managed to inflict such devastating losses upon us. The gargantuan matriarch clicked and hissed, her multiple eyes narrowed in contemplation. The humans have proven their mettle, Crixon. Their determination and technological prowess were clearly underestimated. We cannot afford to dismiss them any longer. The other delegates murmured in agreement, their expressions grave and somber. The realization that their once unassailable dominance had been so thoroughly challenged was a bitter pill to swallow, and they knew that they could no longer afford to ignore the human threat. After hours of heated debate and discussion, the Galactic Council reached a consensus. They could not afford to risk further confrontation with the humans, not when their own military forces had been so severely weakened. It was time to extend an olive branch, to seek a peaceful resolution to the conflict before the delicate balance of power in the galaxy was irrevocably shattered. Crixon, his expression grim, approached the human ambassador, Sarah Oliveira, with a tense but determined demeanor. "Human, the Galactic Council has decided to pursue a path of diplomacy. We wish to negotiate a peaceful resolution to this conflict." Sarah, her posture straight and her gaze unwavering, regarded the Xandarian with a measured expression. "I am listening, Counselor Crixon. What terms are you proposing?" Crixon took a deep breath, knowing that the words he was about to utter would be a bitter blow to the pride of the Galactic Council. We are willing to offer your people full membership in the Galactic Council, with all the rights and privileges that come with such a position. In exchange, we ask that you disarm your Dreadnought and agree to a series of concessions and reforms that will ensure a more equitable distribution of power within the Council. Sarah's eyes widened slightly, but she maintained her composure. "Your offer is intriguing, Counselor. But what assurances can you provide that the Galactic Council will truly treat us as equals, and not simply as a subordinate member to be controlled and manipulated?" Crixon's scales shimmered, a subtle indication of his discomfort. We understand that trust must be earned, human. To that end, we are prepared to implement significant reforms within the Galactic Council to ensure that all member races have an equal voice and a fair share of the resources and opportunities available. The gargantuan matriarch stepped forward, her massive form looming over the proceedings. "The human race has proven its worth, and we can no longer afford to dismiss your capabilities. We are willing to cede certain powers and privileges to you, in the hopes of fostering a lasting alliance that will benefit all the races of the galaxy." Sarah considered the Council's offer, her mind racing with the implications. This was a momentous opportunity, one that could solidify the human race's place in the galactic community and grant them a level of influence and power that they had previously only dreamed of. But she also knew that the price of this alliance would be steep, and that the human government would need to carefully weigh the potential risks and rewards. After a long silence, Sarah finally spoke, her voice calm and resolute. "Very well, counselors. The human government will accept your offer, but with certain conditions of our own. We will disarm the Dreadnought, but only in exchange for a binding agreement that ensures our full and equal participation in the Galactic Council, with no exceptions or limitations." Crixin and the Gargantuan matriarch exchanged a glance, their expressions betraying a hint of reluctance. But they both knew that they had little choice but to accept the humans' terms, for the alternative would be a continued conflict that the Galactic Council could ill afford. "So be it, human," Crixin said, his voice grudging but resigned. "The Galactic Council accepts your conditions. May this be the beginning of a new era of cooperation and mutual understanding between our peoples." As the negotiations concluded, the human government found itself on the cusp of a momentous achievement, a place at the table of the most powerful interstellar organization in the galaxy. But the road ahead would not be an easy one. As they would soon discover, the human government's hard-fought victory in securing membership in the Galactic Council was a momentous achievement, one that would reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. Through a combination of skillful diplomacy and the strategic use of their formidable Dreadnought, the humans had managed to secure a place at the table of the most influential interstellar organization. However, the road ahead was far from smooth. The alien delegates of the Galactic Council, still smarting from their humiliating defeat at the hands of the human vessel, were reluctant to grant their new members true equality and influence within the organization. Sarah Oliveira, the human ambassador, knew that she would have to tread carefully, navigating the complex web of politics and power dynamics that permeated the Galactic Council chambers. But she was undeterred, her determination fueled by a deep-seated belief in the potential of the human race to contribute to the betterment of the galaxy. "We have earned our place here," she declared during one particularly heated council session, her voice commanding the attention of the assembled delegates. "The human race has proven its worth, both in terms of our military might and our technological prowess. It is time for the Galactic Council to recognize us as true equals, with a voice that carries the same weight as any other member race." Crixin, the Xandarian representative, shifted uncomfortably in his seat, his scales glistening with a sheen of sweat. "The human race has indeed made a significant impact on the Galactic Council. But we cannot simply disregard the centuries of tradition and hierarchy that have shaped our organization. Change, as they say, does not come easily." The Gargantuan matriarch clicked and hissed, her multiple eyes narrowing in contemplation. "The humans raise a valid point, Crixin. Their contributions to the Galactic Council cannot be ignored, and we must find a way to incorporate their voice and interests into our decision-making process. Gradually, through a combination of shrewd negotiation, strategic alliances, and the ever-present threat of the human Dreadnought, the humans began to assert their influence within the Galactic Council. They pushed for reforms that would decentralize power, ensuring a more equitable distribution of resources and opportunities among the member races. The alien delegates, initially resistant to these changes, found themselves increasingly on the defensive as the human government leveraged its newfound leverage to reshape the Galactic Council's priorities and policies. "The humans are becoming quite a force to be reckoned with," the Xandarian representative, Crixin, remarked to the Gargantuan matriarch during a private council meeting. "Their determination and resourcefulness are proving to be a formidable challenge to our traditional power structures." The Gargantuan matriarch clicked in agreement, her massive form swaying with a sense of unease. "Indeed, the human race has shattered the illusion of our unassailable dominance. We must adapt to this new reality, or risk becoming obsolete in the eyes of the galaxy." As the human government's influence within the Galactic Council grew, so too did their reputation among the other member races. The once dismissive attitudes toward the primitive human civilization quickly gave way to a newfound respect and even admiration for their military prowess, technological innovation, and diplomatic savvy. Across the galaxy, alien civilizations began to look to the humans as potential allies, eager to forge partnerships and alliances that would grant them a greater voice and stake in the Galactic Council's decision-making process. The humans, seizing this opportunity, worked tirelessly to build these bridges, solidifying their position as a key player in the intricate web of galactic politics. The Galactic Council, once a bastion of alien dominance, now found itself grappling with the reality of a new rising power, the human race. And as the decades passed, it became increasingly clear that the course of galactic history had been forever altered by the actions of this determined, resilient, and technologically advanced civilization. The human dreadnought, once a symbol of defiance and a harbinger of the human race's emergence onto the galactic stage, had become a revered icon, a testament to the determination, ingenuity, and sheer tenacity of the people it represented. As the years passed and the human civilization solidified its place within the Galactic Council, the massive warship was slowly decommissioned and retired from active service. But rather than being consigned to the dustbins of history, it was carefully preserved and placed on display, a constant reminder of the pivotal role it had played in shaping the balance of power in the galaxy. Visitors from across the cosmos would come to marvel at the Dreadnought's imposing size and formidable weaponry, their eyes filled with a mixture of awe and reverence. They would listen, rapt, as guides recounted the harrowing tale of the vessel's decisive engagement with the Galactic Council's combined fleets, a battle that had forever altered the course of galactic history. For the human people, the Dreadnought had become a symbol of their rise to prominence, a tangible representation of the triumph of their determination and technological prowess over the once unassailable dominance of the alien races that had once sought to dismiss and subjugate them. "This ship," said Sarah Oliveira, now the revered elder statesman of the human government, "is a reminder of the power of the human spirit and the importance of never underestimating the potential of our species to achieve greatness." As the human civilization continued to grow and evolve, its influence within the Galactic Council only strengthened. The reforms and concessions that had been extracted from the alien delegates during the initial negotiations had laid the groundwork for a more equitable and collaborative interstellar community, one in which the human voice carried as much weight as any other. The human representatives, armed with the lessons they had learned from the Dreadnought's pivotal encounter, became adept at navigating the complex web of galactic politics. They forged strategic alliances, brokered trade agreements, and championed causes that aligned with their values and interests, all the while mindful of the need to maintain a delicate balance of power within the Council. Yet, even as the human civilization's influence and prestige grew, the Dreadnought remained a constant reminder of the sacrifices and struggles that had been necessary to secure their place in the galaxy. The vessel's battered but still imposing form stood as a silent witness to the trials and tribulations that the human race had endured, a tangible symbol of their emergence from the shadows of obscurity to become a force to be reckoned with. As the decades turned into centuries, the human people continued to look to the Dreadnought as a source of inspiration and pride. It was a reminder that, no matter how great the challenges they faced, they possessed the fortitude and determination to overcome them, to carve out a place for themselves in the vast expanse of the cosmos. And so, the Dreadnought remained, a silent sentry guarding the legacy of the human race, a testament to the power of perseverance and the transformative potential of an underestimated people. It stood as a reminder that the course of galactic history could be forever altered by the actions of a single, determined civilization, a lesson that the Galactic Council had learned the hard way. As the human civilization continued to shape the destiny of the galaxy, the Dreadnought's legacy lived on, a constant source of inspiration and a symbol of the enduring strength of the human spirit. And in the vast expanse of the cosmos, the human people knew that their journey had only just begun, their sights set on a future where they would continue to assert their influence and leave an indelible mark on the course of galactic events.